Hello! Hello, Sharon. Thank you for inviting me. It's great to be here. This is such a great movie. I'm such a big fan of The Day the Earth Stood Still. I don't know if you recall, in the original version, Farewell to the Master, Gort was the spaceman and Klaatu was the robot. I know because I had the Amazing Stories comic book version of this when I was a kid. Uh, this is such a great movie. It is the definitive science fiction movie. Well, I answered a newspaper ad. Terry Draper and John Wallace-Chuck were looking for a guitar player. And I knew Terry from years before our bands had played in different bands in high school. The first time we played in the same band together, the band was called Mud Cow. And band didn't last very long because it kind of sucked. But a few years later, we started Klaatu, and that sucked a lot less. Oh boy, that was a long time ago in a galaxy not very far away. It was John and I were working on. We were working in an electronics company, my father's electronics company, soldering circuit boards. Not your dream job exactly. And John had compiled a list of possible names for our possible future band, and Klaatu was easily the best choice. We're both huge fans of the movie, and that was our name from then on. I never thought about it that much. I couldn't believe that anybody would seriously believe that we could actually be the Beatles. The I was young and preferred to think that the music would find its own way, but I guess I'd find it easier to believe that Elton John is actually the Queen in disguise, or maybe Liberace, but, well, I suppose that could actually be the case. Gee, I never thought much about that either. The all happened so quickly. It came and went very quickly. And we were just continuing to focus on making our own music as we intended to all along. Um, I guess a lot fewer people listened. That's all. I think Klaatu was influenced by the Beatles and the Beach Boys, and Bread and Beethoven and 10cc, Jeff Beck, ELO, maybe the Turtles even. Um, the Beatles was only a small part of it, but to me, there's always been two categories. There's been the Beatles, and there's been the rest of music, and Klaatu was part of the rest of music. Do I believe in aliens? I think the real question is, do aliens believe in us? I think that they probably don't. Uh, Space, the universe is a huge, vast place. And if you had that entire place to choose from, anywhere you wanted to go, anywhere you wanted to visit, would you choose Earth? I kind of think not. That song was written by Terry and John. So if the aliens do arrive, blame them. Don't blame me. However, if they did arrive, I think it might be very much as it happens in this movie, The Day the Earth Stood Still. And I think our response would be very much the same even today. It's unfortunate, but I think it's true. So you say there's a UFO landing pad in St. Paul, Alberta. I did not know that. The next time I go there, I will have somewhere to park my spaceship. That's great. I like to think of myself as sharing a similar music philosophy to the late great Frank Zappa, or maybe Weird Al Yankovic. Uh, as for the band, um, Bill Gates. I'm a science fiction fan as well as a science fan, and I think the guys in the band are big science fiction fans too. May not be exactly sci-fi, but I think my favorite movie is Brazil. However, The Day the Earth Stood Still would rate number two. It's just one of the best. I've been known to watch anything on TV that has spaceships in it, even if it's crap. So my opinion may be a little jaded here, but and as well, when I was young in my teenage years, I had an eight-track audio cartridge of the soundtrack from The Day the Earth Stood Still, and I used to listen to it on my stereo in the car. So you can see that I think this movie's pretty cool, and I think that the music in it is pretty cool too. It's electric violin and theremin, and it's been copied many times, but never bettered. As a band, Klaatu have no plans to record any more music, at least not that I know of. Personally, I intend to keep recording CDs until somebody forces me to stop. But I have a new CD out right now. It's called Outside. It's on Bullseye Records Canada. And I would encourage everybody out there to go out and buy massive quantities. Please check out my website at dlong.com. That's dlong.com, easy to remember. You can get your free drum looping software there, and you can read my story outside of time and space. I have my own little science fiction story, which goes along with the music on the album. Or is it science fact? You tell me. Mick Jagger did show up at Toronto Sound late one night. We were working on the song Little Neutrino. Terry Draper was out in the studio doing cymbal rolls and other percussion parts, and we had the multi-track tape playing backwards, very loud on the speakers. So that poor man was exposed to some of the strangest sounds ever heard on this planet. So whatever he thought of us, uh, who can imagine? It would have driven a cat insane listening to this noise. Anyway, for the most part, I think that people and musicians in general liked the first album and the rest of the albums and thought the music was well performed, etc. But musicians don't have a lot of cash and they don't buy many albums. What can you do? Musical direction. My musical direction personally hasn't changed at all. I'm still trying to create the one song, the one sound that nobody's ever heard before and actually really wants to listen to. But that ain't happened yet. So, I mean, since I wrote the song, Maybe I'll Move to Mars, I've actually moved there. So this has changed my perspective a little bit. I guess you could say my musical direction is up, out, and over there. Anyway, Klaatu, Barada, Necktie, and we'll see you later. And thank you so much, Sharon. It's been a pleasure. I'm going to kick back and have a cup of coffee and watch this movie with you. Thanks again.